For staying with us on The World Now. Let's turn our attention to the United States. The police there are looking for a suspect who shot and injured 9 people during a mass shooting on Sunday morning at a nightclub in downtown Cleveland, Ohio State. That's according to a senior security official. According to the chief of the Cleveland Division of Police, Wayne Drummond, no one was killed in the shooting, but the unknown shooter, who is still at large, opened fire on a crowd of people in the city's warehouse district at 2:25 a.m. local time. Police are following leads and vowing to continue to work extremely hard to try to find the person responsible, he added. Before the incident, there was no indication to the investigators that anything significant had happened. The police said this, describing the suspect as a black man dressed in dark clothing. Mass shootings in the U.S. reached a record high in the first half of the year, with over 330 mass shootings recorded, according to data collected by the Gun Violence Archive.
I am sick and tired of getting these calls late at night. I'm sick and tired of hearing from our residents and victims of gun violence and Republicans blaming us as mayors for violent crime. We need their help.
This particular individual started shooting towards the crowd. As you all know, struck 9 individuals. The officers immediately ran to the gunfire, ran to the victims, and rendered first aid. All the officers rendered first aid to the victims. And as I stated, we had 9 total victims, 7 males and 2 females ranging from ages 23 to 38 years old. Again, I stress, we had officers assigned here. This is part of their detail, a very visible presence of officers, but yet this individual decided to use that weapon and shoot individuals, even with our officers here. So it's not a matter of police response. It's not a matter of police visibility, because we were here and we will continue to be here.
Still in the United States, heavy rain spawned extreme flooding in the Hudson Valley in New York, killing at least 1 person, swamping roads and forcing closures on Sunday night, as much of the rest of the northeastern U.S. braced for potentially punishing rains. The National Weather Service extended flash flood warnings into Connecticut, including the cities of Stamford and Greenwich, and into Massachusetts. Forecasters said some areas could get as much as 5 inches of rain. In the Hudson Valley, rescue teams found the body of a woman in her 30s who drowned after being swept away while trying to evacuate her home. The New York Governor, Kathy Hochul, said several people were missing and 1 home was washed away. Officials said communities to the east of the state should brace for torrential rains and possible flash flooding. Officials urged residents in the line of the storm to stay off the roads.
I remember Sandy, but in this area, in this neighborhood, I think this is the first where the water actually came up this much.
And what's your name?
Yes.
Water started coming up.
The synagogue is right next to the water bank over there, and it overflowed and it came right to the windows of the synagogue.
And Spanish rescuers are searching waters off the Canary Islands for a boat carrying at least 200 African migrants who went missing more than a week ago. The aid group Walking Borders says the fishing boat sailed from Kafountine, a coastal town in southern Senegal that is roughly 1,700 kilometers from Tenerife. The group says many children are on board. 2 similar boats carrying dozens more people are also said to be missing. Spain's Maritime Rescue Service told local media that a plane had joined the search. The boat with 200 people on board left Kafountine on 27th of June, heading for the Canary Islands. There are few details about the other 2 boats. However, Reuters news agency quoted Helena Maleno of Walking Borders as saying that one has about 65 people on board, the other up to 60. That would bring the total number of people missing across the 3 boats to more than 300. The news comes just weeks after Europe saw one of its worst Mediterranean migrant shipwrecks when an overcrowded trawler sank off the Greek coast. In Pakistan, amid soaring temperatures and the increase in electricity demand, Pakistanis are suffering load shedding and prolonged power outages, which affects the lives of Pakistanis of all segments. The electric company in the country, called Lahore Electricity Supply Company, has reported an increase in the demand for electricity. According to LESCO, the country's electricity demand is 22,200 megawatts, while production is 19,000 megawatts, resulting to a shortage of 3,000 megawatts. However, many areas in Lahore are experiencing 3 hours power outage, while citizens in rural areas are experiencing 3 to 4 hour load shedding. People in Pakistan's Punjab region are compelled to endure prolonged outages in the sweltering summer. This comes due to a sudden increase in electricity demand amid heat wave-like conditions, which has damaged a huge number of transformers.
Everyone suffers from power outages. The higher the temperature, the greater the rate of power outages. Our business has been affected and we have had to use generators. The government should reduce electricity bills or find a solution to this problem.
There is no specific schedule for power outages. Our working hours have decreased and this affected production. Any work that used to take a day or two may now take 5 days. Workshop costs have increased and our production has decreased by 60%.
My wife, 5 children, and I live most of our time without electricity. We have a solar panel that works for a few hours during the day, depending on the weather. At night, we usually sleep without electricity until sunrise.